What is the good word, folks? It is Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, I like to say, it's 10 a.m. somewhere in Australia. So big shout outs to our friends in Australia that are joining us. I think we're live. I think it's working, and I should look extra crispy and a little more extra bright than I am normally. Also got a little bit of a blue backlight behind me because I make this up as I go. So, welcome to Technically Speaking Live. I think we're good. I'm getting the notice on the screen right now of Stats. I'm not looking at you. Stats is over here, and he's going to join us via Skype as we always do. Got a pretty interesting show today. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I got a lot of folks, a lot of questions I actually want to ask the audience if anyone shows up to watch, which is always a shocker to me. I don't know why anybody shows up to watch me talk. Google Music dying at the hands of YouTube Music finally. They've been talking about that thing for probably 11 years, give or take a year or two. We got OnePlus 8 that can see through plastic. Wink is an extortionist. So if you do smart home automation through Wink, I don't know if you should. Would you allow other huge manufacturers to watermark your phone? Not watermark your phone. That was stupid. Watermark the photos on your phone. I don't know why that's a phenomenon because it's really stupid. And also, I have a lot of questions about Google's epic loss when it comes to some of the pixel people that they're losing in terms of their computational photography. It's just a really bizarre situation that's going on in Google right now for that. Probably going to round it out with, if you didn't think live streaming was a big deal before, but it is now, I can definitely tell you that live streaming is here and it is here to stay. The show upload on Amazon is fantastic. Oh, it's just a packed show today. So I really need to know if you are a witness for the thickness. Are you all thicknesses? That is it. Like the LeBron thing used to be, we're all witnesses. I need to know if you're all thicknesses. Is that a thing? Can I make that a thing? I don't know if that's a thing. I feel like I could make that a thing. I feel like Stats wants to jump in here super bad and say that he's going to be down with the thickness. I'm going to bring Stats in. Stats, welcome to the show, my friend. Are you down with the thickness?
Hello. I have been down with the thickness for years, but even more so in today's COVID environment because as I am doing just off screen, I am eating and drinking myself into an early grave. So thickness all the way, all you, all me, all the time, brother.
There we go. We are thicknesses. That's I need to get that hashtag thicknesses.
Sir Thickness.
Sir Thicks a lot. No.
There it is. There it is.
Big body Cadillac. Sir Thicks a lot. Down with the thickness. Got a lot to talk about today, Stats. And just in case anybody was wondering, yes, I have the iPhone camera angle. I'm actually only running 2 camera angles today. I'm going to run this one, which is the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And then I'm also going to run the EOS R, which is right there. So I'm coming to you through the value of 4K on 2 different screens. And then there's this.
Double stats. Wow.
Double stats all the time.
And they're slightly off.
I know, right? It's the best part. So it's okay. I think we've all determined the fact that this show is exactly... I hope that's a train whistle.
It is a train whistle.
Cool. All right. Okay, let's get this thing off. I'm gonna have to check out this whole upload thing. Full-bodied thickness. That's right. I am full-bodied thickness. I am down with the full-bodied thickness aroma. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on by. It's been years at this point. I am a huge Google Music person. I have had a subscription service to Google Music since basically the dawn of its inception. And finally, I think it was
the dawn of time.
Evidently Google wanted to ping in either. I don't really know why she wanted in there, but I have owned a subscription to Google Play Music for a long time. It is now like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. It feels like they announced that they're going to get rid of Google Music in light of YouTube Music. Fine. Perfect. The thing that we've always wanted is, can you, for the love of God, allow me to switch over my playlists, my albums, music that I have put up there? And they're like, yeah, nah, dog. Not yet. We can't do that. Okay. Well, now they've evidently figured out that there is a... Did you just wipe your nose on camera?
Absolutely. It was better.
Jesus, man.
Let it drip.
Jesus, man. We're live. You just want to blow
Hit
your
the
nose
Hot
real
Mess
quick?
Express.
Hot mess.
Hit the Hot Mess Express.
Jesus.
Thank you.
My God. I can't believe you just blew your nose live on camera. Anything else
I wiped my nose.
You might as well.
Well, luckily, since these headphones are wireless, they're only going to pick up certain body noises, so you don't have anything to worry about.
But your microphone's super sensitive, and you can do that. That's not the point. The point is YouTube Music now allows you to have a migration tool that you can move all of your music over from Google Music to the YouTube Music app. So let me ask, Stats, have you seen that yet?
I saw it today. I'm glad we're talking about it because, like you, I have been a Google Music subscriber and listener and user for what feels like a decade now. And I love it. I mean, I use it every single day. Yep. I used to use it for the podcast, but then since they've switched that over to its own individual app, that's what I'm using for these days. But I mean, I probably streamed 4 or 5 hours of music just today. I use it to discover new artists. I use it to discover artists who are coming to town that I might want to see. And I mean, anything and everything you could want from an audio standpoint should be available on that service. And, you know, even if there's some rare, you know, like bootleg tracks or something that you did purchase legally at some point in your life that you had uploaded.
I love how you like, yeah, you totally got all your music completely legally. Look, I know what generation we grew up in.
Oh yeah, we're the Napster generation.
Yeah, but, I get it.
Anyway, any music that you were allowed to upload to your Google account, I love that they are going to be able to transfer it. It remains for me, just because I haven't done a deep dive on it, what the user interface is going to be like, because the Google Music interface.
I love YouTube Music's app. Okay. I use it every single day. Like it's actually because in my house we do have a family subscription to the Google Music subscription where you get to pay, I don't know, like $15 a month and you have a bunch of people have it. Because my daughter is now getting into things like her music, she'll use the Google Homes that we have in the home. Google Homes in the home. All the Google Homes. Yeah, there's a lot. So like the kids will say play a thing, and that thing will play under my account because it doesn't recognize their voice, which means when I try to go in and say, play the song that I want to play, it will stop their music. And then it becomes this crazy fight between me and my kids because they don't have a recognizable voice on Google. And so they just default back to the account holder, which is me. And it annoys it annoys me daily, and it just sucks the life out of me. So we have a Google Play account, which automatically gives me a YouTube Music account. Right. And I also have a Spotify account. So if she's listening to something on Google Music, I'll listen on Spotify. Now she likes Spotify more, so she'll then basically take my Spotify account and then I go back to my Google account, but now my son gets into that. So now I can carve out and do my YouTube Music. As long as I say play this thing on YouTube Music, I have no interruptions at all with my music service. So that's good to know. I have actually gotten really good at the YouTube Music app. I love it. I think it's great. You can actually go in and watch music videos if that's a thing that you want to do. But I rarely, freaking love every once in a while. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So I mean, it is a thing.
If and when Shakira is putting out a new video,
really, you super creeper. You're creepy, dude.
Come on,
bro. Miss Sheila, welcome to the show.
The Super Bowl halftime show.
I did not. I don't. Yeah, I did not. Miss Sheila, thank you so much for stopping by. Microsoft update, always so much fun. Jim Lynch, welcome to the show. Larry, a lot more Patch Tuesdays with everyone working from home. Patch Tuesdays. Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. Michael Daniels, thank you so much, brother. I love you too, my friend. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's always a blast when you come on to the show for sure. So long story short, if you have a Google Music subscription, you're going to be moved over or asked to be moved over to the YouTube Music app. It's great. I love the app. You don't think you're going to lose anything there. You're getting a lot more functionality. I'm glad that they're finally moving over my music and some of the playlists that I've actually created and curated all over the years. That's been my biggest thing that I was worried about, which is why I never switched permanently.
Yeah, I've probably got half a dozen, maybe more playlists, and then some that you and I share, and some that you and I and Greg created over the years that
Yep.
I definitely do not want to lose.
That's true. My brother, lover of tech. Welcome, welcome. What's up, my friend? What's up? Welcome all the way from the UK. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. The only reason I know it's Wednesday because of the live show. That is the only reason that I know what day it is. Did you see that the OnePlus 8 can see through plastic, which is freaking amazing? I did not know. I didn't know how I could do it.
On it.
Yeah. So according to Android Police, the OnePlus 8 actually has this this odd photo color filter, like lens, not on the camera, but inside the AI of the camera, that turns like really thin plastic transparent. And so you can go, it's super creepy. Like one of the things that I saw was somebody holding up an Apple TV, like the little square device, and you can see the plugs. It is bananas. The idea that I don't know how it does this, which means we're probably not far away from actual X-ray vision at this point. So it is super interesting to see that a photo app based on a OnePlus 8 camera can now see through plastic.
Yeah, it's probably got some from a visual standpoint, it has something to do with the wavelengths that the sensor is picking up. But
my brother, lover for tech, I knew that he would know this. Ben is just a freaking encyclopedia of everything. 5 megapixel color filter sensor is really an infrared camera sensor. There you go. My dude knows everything. He is a hell of a tech fighter too. Look, I watched the last Saturday Night Tech Fight. I'm going to go on record here. I did not agree with the judges. I saw the fight mostly completely the opposite direction. Nothing against Sean. Sean has been on our show 2 weeks ago. Sean was on the show maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Dude knows his stuff about cameras as well. I absolutely nothing but love for him. But I had the fight for Ben, and Sean scored a different way. And I'm just going to leave it at like that. I respect the judges. I respect the decision that they made. As a spectator, I did not score the fight that way. And there it is what it is.
But I mean, to a certain extent, that's the whole point of that, is to get people of differing opinions on there, both to comment and battle, as it were, but then have people with different backgrounds and opinions there to judge that battle. And we all learn something when we watch.
Yeah,
so
I learned a freaking lot about that. And there's one, I swear to God, this one question is always going to be the bane of my existence. Is the age-old question is, can a smartphone camera basically replace a DSLR? And that, I swear to God, that freaking question is going to be the bane of my existence, and it's going to be my Achilles heel, because I think it can. Even though right now I'm looking at you on camera right into this one right here, and I can tell you this is a 4K Canon EOS R, a beautiful camera. I love this camera. I have started to take more photos than I have ever before, even when I had a smartphone. But what you can't deny, and Stats, I'm going to take this briefly. What you can't deny is the fact that this right here, what you're seeing, a lot of people actually prefer the way that this looks. This is crispy. This is clear. It is vibrant, full of color. This is not a DSLR. This is an iPhone. This is a phone. So that question is always going to get me, because I swear to God, I feel like for the most part, it could replace most DSLRs for the majority of people that actually go out and get a DSLR. It for darn sure has already replaced the point and shoot. No question.
100%.
No question. It
absolutely.
just decimated the point and shoot. I know there are some people that still have point and shoots, but now when you're talking to me, like if I have to get a phone, even if it's a flip, because I remember when flip phones were not like the $50-$60 that they are now. They were significantly more than that. You get that plus an actual like point and shoot. You probably got, well, probably at the time you had at least $500 into it. So, Gary, Contractor POV, welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Best video I've ever seen on live stream. So that's the craziest thing, and it's from an iPhone. It's bananas. Also with the help of a little bit of software, but no color correction or anything like that. It's literally just the software to allow my computer to recognize the fact that it's a webcam.
And what's the? I was going to say, what's that new software link that you discovered?
eCam Live. eCam Live is the thing that I am now using exclusively on my live streams because now I have stats via Skype. If Stats had anything greater than a 720p, no offense, Stats, you would actually see him in full 1440p.
Your old laptop.
Hey, you shut your hole. That's not a part of my narrative. That's not a part of my narrative.
Yep.
Dude, Ben mentioned this. He was like, next time I'll go to bed early and sleep. Dude, you are always welcome to join the show. I'll ping you on the side. Be more than happy to have you in. Just join via Skype whenever you want. Yep, open invitation for that. So yeah, that question's always going to get me, man. That just gets me every time. Oh, it's because it's such a good question, though.
It is. It really is, and I think it makes people think a lot about what they are attempting to do, whether or not they are trying to capture as many photos and videos in real time as possible, or are they trying to capture the best possible photos and videos? And that's where, a lot of people, myself included, have to make a decision on where they're going to make the trade-off. I would rather have as much as possible an all-in-one device like my smartphone that captures just good enough pictures and video, as long as you're not trying to send video between an Apple and an Android device.
Oh yeah,
we all know how badly that sucks.
Yeah, if you go Apple to Android, it looks like a potato. If you do Android to anything else, it's fine. Apple's just like, no.
Yeah. But I would rather have the functionality and the utility of having everything in my pocket in one device. Because let's face it, I am part of that generation that grew up with massive changes in technology. I love my smartphone. It is very rarely more than 12 inches away from my body. So it's the camera that I have. So it's the camera that I'm going to take pictures with. So,
I mean, somebody's got to say it. That's what she said.
Yeah. Well,
somebody has to say it. Come on. This show.
I personally have never owned a DSLR. I had a number of point and shoots, both film, I am that old, and digital, and they worked great. They worked fine for what I wanted to do and what I needed to do. But as soon as I got that first smartphone, I was like, wait a minute, there's a camera in here and I don't have to clutter up my pockets or my bag with something else.
I like where this is going, but I do want to talk about this. Larry did mention it. DSLR in the hands of professional will always look better. I agree with that statement 100%. I'll then one-up you and say, well, not one-up. I will then comment.
Counter.
I'm not going to counter. If you put a professional if you put a iPhone in the hands of a professional photographer, that will also still come out. I would argue that a iPhone, like an 11 Pro Max, in the hands of a professional photographer will always be better than a DSLR in the hands of an average photographer. So like kind of flip that. If you have an average photographer with an iPhone, it will definitely not look better than a DSLR and a Pro. But if you give a professional a Pixel or an iPhone, it will look better than the average person shooting on a DSLR. I would be willing to bet that.
Yeah, I agree. And then, obviously the biggest differences are going to be how in those professionals, regardless of device, edit and present their photos. They have a much more discerning eye on, what makes a good photo, how to set up a good photo to begin with, as far as ratios and distances and colors and lighting. But then if you give them the ability to edit it, especially on some secondary or tertiary software, running on a much larger processor than you would find within your phone, the results are just outstanding, regardless of the device that's used to capture them.
I like where this is going. I'm still going to keep saying, I want to say, what's up, Tano? What's up, Gadget Goddess? Welcome, GG, to the crew. Team Moose, Team Gel. I do use a gel. It is called King Mode because only that would be sufficient for my hair. King Mode. Got to do what I got to do. What I say for that. And so here's the
I use the good old Layrite pomade.
There you go.
I actually did my hair today just for you in the show.
That's unbelievable. So if folks did not believe that, Larry's actually a good point. That sounds like a great video segment. A pro with a phone and an average person with a DSLR. I think I know where a link is to that. I think I can come up with it. For the folks that didn't think live streaming was a big deal, and I bring this up because I talk a lot about specifically the ability to look at you right here and live stream like this through my phone right there. I talk a lot about that because if you didn't think live streaming was a big deal before, sadly, you are mistaken. The numbers are in between Twitch, YouTube, Facebook gaming. They said that viewership is unbelievably high in terms of live streaming being like the thing to do. So I wanted to pull up these notes while I can, but I actually can't move my screen enough to do it. So hang on a minute.
I'm scanning the article.
They're talking about somewhere in the vicinity of, I think YouTube as a whole went up. Twitch went up. They all went up. The one that went up the least was Microsoft's Mixer, but the one that had like the crazy, like biggest jump, I believe was Twitch. Twitch had a crazy increase from month over month. It saw a significant increase year over year. It saw another increase. The idea is like, folks, live streaming is where it's at. Been doing live streaming for a long time. I don't have the world's most popular channel. I average anywhere between 10 and 20 people watching the show at any given time. So this is not lost on me. It's just that now you're seeing a bunch of people live stream for a whole bunch of reasons. And it's great. People are picking up gaming. They're live streaming things like stitching and crocheting. And there's just a huge explosion in live streaming. And I can't get enough of it. Like, I love it. I have learned so much. I have been a part of a lot of different live streams. There's several people in here in the comments right now that I also know that do live streams. Ben's done live streams. Tana does live streams. GD does live streams. I know for a fact that they've been doing them for a long time at this point. And so like we all know the power of live streaming. It's just like the rest of the world is finally turning on to the fact that live streams are the way they are. Michael Daniels, huge supporter of the show, he gave a super chat a bit earlier, has weekly games. Like he has created games for the live shows that he does every single Friday. As far as I know, he's been doing it several years at this point. And it's just now the rest of the mainstream world is seeing where live streaming is going. And it's doesn't require all these great big camera gadgets like some of the things that I have. All you need is probably the phone in your hand. That's it.
Yep.
None special. You can go live. You can go live. If you have a Twitter account, you can go live on Periscope right now from your Twitter account, from your phone.
You can do it on Instagram, too.
You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Twitter.
2 clicks.
You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on YouTube. YouTube's a little bit different because you can go live from your phone, but you have to have a certain number of requirements to do it. There is no shortage of live streaming today. I don't know if you can do it on TikTok, though. Look, I can't get down.
I don't have a TikTok account, so I don't know.
I can't get down with TikTok. I have an account, and I want to put some of my stuff on TikTok just to see what happens. So I will be, and this is because of Josh Smith and Kev the Tech Ninja, I'm going to go on TikTok. Josh has been going all in on TikTok, and he's had success. And I don't know how they do the monetization. I don't know how they do any of that. But I swear to God, I was sitting at my dinner table 3 days ago, and all 5 of us were sitting down. And I look at my wife, and I said, I'm going to get on TikTok. And she didn't say anything. She didn't care. And immediately, my son, the one who's the most soft-spoken in the whole house, and Stats, you know this, he's the most soft-spoken one in the home. He goes, "Oh, Dad, don't do that." And I was like, wow, huh? And so immediately everybody started laughing. And then my oldest daughter, named Gigi, ironically enough, she's like, yeah, Dad, let's do this. I want to be on your TikTok too. I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. So we started to make videos about like dancing and singing that will never see the light of day, because I don't know if I want the world to see. I don't know if they need to witness the thickness that is this on TikTok.
I think we could come up with some interesting things. I mean, the new trampoline you guys have could lend itself to some interesting TikTok moments. But I think the biggest one is when we get our standard foursome together back out on the golf course, and I'm going to repeat that. Foursome on the golf course, not in any other way, shape, or form.
There you go. No context here.
That could lend itself to some interesting TikToks just from our swings or trying to recover from a disadvantaged position or something like that.
So big shout outs to Tech King Mike for stopping through with the super chat, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I just mentioned your show a little bit earlier, as a matter of fact. I'm still looking forward to the tag team that is the Saturday Night Tech Fights. I'm ready. I am ready. If I would have prepared better against Kev the Tech Ninja, I feel like it wouldn't have been as disrespectful. Like, I feel like I could have handled mine a little bit better.
Well, what did you learn from that?
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
And I would agree with that.
That's what I learned. If you come at the king, you best not miss. That's just the truth of the matter. And I have nothing but respect. So I beg of you, as a friend, please don't get on TikTok. I mean,
it is Miss Sheila.
It is Miss Sheila.
Can't say no to her.
I get it. I get it. I just need to see, like, for me, it's science. So let me put it this way. If I get on TikTok, it will most likely be snippets of this show or snippets from my videos. Straight up.
And are you going to use it in an attempt to drive more viewers to the show or videos?
That's my question is like, I need to know what it does in terms of driving content. And this comes up. Gary V is another guy that I listen to a lot. Gary Vaynerchuk, super intense dude, like whoa intense dude. And he does not ignore any of the platforms. Now I'm sure this puts me at a disadvantage, but it's a disadvantage I'm willing to take and pay the price on. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook for a reason.
Me neither.
And I'm not on Facebook because I don't want to be on Facebook. It's a bit of a hypocritical statement by me to say that because I'm also on Instagram, which is owned by Facebook.
Yep.
And you also get to play that hypocritical card, Stats, because you are also on Instagram.
Oh, I'm all over Instagram. And the only way I can justify it to myself is that
I can't wait. Please, do you want the whole screen to give the rest of the world your justification?
No, not at all. Because you've heard this before. It's just I never signed up for a Facebook account because I didn't see the intent behind it when it was very young, back when we were still in college or just out of college. And over the years, I have, just decided that type of data collection, in addition to the other platforms that I already give my data to, I'm just not comfortable with what they're trying to do from a business model and things like that. So, yeah. And I think the only reason that I'm still on Instagram is because I was on Instagram before Facebook bought them. If I had not been on Instagram and then Facebook bought them, I probably never would have signed up for Instagram.
I'm not sure that I would also. I'm not sure that's I don't think that's a viable excuse. Someone call it what it is, bro. Like, I hear you, but that's not a viable excuse. Like,
okay, which part?
Yes, all of it. Like, it's great. Straight up. If you're not on Facebook, fine. But being on Instagram is like, I don't like to share all my data, bro. If you only do everything that has your data, and I can say that, and I'm not gonna. Let me just leave it at this because I try to keep separation of church and state, so to speak. Is in the professional version of myself, I have to know that. I'll leave it at that, and I can tell you that if Amazon and Microsoft went down the internet would cease. It
Agreed.
would fully stop. Full stop. You've probably given more information to Facebook than you even care to know.
I'm sure, but I guess,
and it sucks, but
in my secondary, I have given them less if I also had a actual Facebook account in addition to my Instagram account.
That is a factual statement. You can say that. Yes. You have in fact given them less, but I'm sure that I promise you've given them more than you even care to know. But that's the world that we live in, though. That's just kind of how it is. I only use Twitter to get customer service from airlines, and that's why I deleted it. Yep. I mean, I love Twitter, though. It is the second most toxic social platform. Third most toxic. I take that back. Third most toxic platform.
Okay, what's your other two?
Facebook and Reddit.
Ooh.
Those are by far, for me, the two most toxic. Unbelievably toxic. It goes Reddit, Facebook, and then Twitter. And I love Twitter. It is a dumpster fire, and it's unbelievable that some of the stuff on there is free content because it is just a dumpster fire.
I would say, in my opinion, Facebook is the worst. And then I just think because it's a lot more ubiquitous, Twitter would be number 2 for me.
Really?
Because the barrier to entry to Twitter, in my mind, is much lower. I mean, Reddit has a lot of rules. They have. I know you can sign up very easily, but I guess what I'm getting at is there's a lot of unwritten rules on Reddit. You know, they have all these communities, and each community has its own set of rules, and there's, legions of moderators for both Reddit as a whole and each individual community, versus Twitter is just like one thing. You can log on to Twitter and say anything you want, and if the Twitter moderators don't catch it, it's going to stay out there. But
I'm telling Reddit's the worst.
There are both paid and unpaid moderators, so I think the barrier to entry on Reddit is higher, but the volume on Reddit, or how many different people can come at you on Reddit, especially once you're inside some of those private communities, that is outrageous.
Yeah, dude, Reddit. Dean says it. Reddit is a disgrace. I am not a Redditor. Greg was a Redditor. He Reddited all the time and would even tell you it is god awful. Larry, Reddit is still a level of decency higher than 4 or 8chan. I would agree with you there. Like 4 and 8chan are to me are above in terms of yuck. But if the big ones, to me, it is Reddit, then Facebook. What did I say?
You said Reddit, Facebook, Twitter.
Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, yeah. And so like I'm not a Redditor. I have an account and I tried to get into it, but I dipped my toe in the water and then I saw what happened and I was like, nope, bye.
Yeah.
Peace. Not doing it.
I still have my account, but I very rarely log in just because it's almost, at least to my way of thinking or how I perceive that type of information overload, it's almost like Amazon to me, where there is so much information available on Reddit, which, as Greg used to describe it, you can find your niche on Reddit for just about anything. You can find that community of like-minded individuals, but a lot like Amazon, you can get overwhelmed by choices. You can get overwhelmed by fake or, not the best quality content or products. And for me, it was just too much work. I was spending more work on Reddit, finding things to be interested about, and then fending off all of the rules and regulations that these, self-appointed moderators create, than I was consuming content. And that's why it just kind of went by the wayside.
So let's kind of push in the clutch slightly, somewhat related to companies overstepping their bounds. Do you like that?
Okay. I do. That was a good transition.
TCL, which is a manufacturer of TVs, they're commonly known in the industry for their televisions, decent televisions. I don't have one, but decent overall. They came out with a line of phones. Most people didn't know that TCL actually made the BlackBerry devices. Like they make decent hardware. Not going to deny that at all. Now, it came up, and I had to do a little bit of research because I didn't realize how widely spread this was. But there are phone and camera manufacturers. I should take this. There are phone manufacturers that watermarks their photos when you take them with the camera. So imagine taking your phone out of your hand, snapping a picture, and then it immediately in one of the bottom left-hand corner, it would say shot with Pixel 4 XL, blah, 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 blah. Now, Oppo, Xiaomi, and TCL are doing that. So I have a question. I think that's a big overreach. Like, I think it's stupid. If I want to watermark something, I'll watermark it.
Yeah, but you're going to watermark it for yourself.
Exactly. I don't want the company to watermark it because they make the logo super big, probably not transparent, because they want people to know that this awesome photo was shot on a Huawei Mate 30 Pro. Like, if I want people to know that, I will let people know that. There's a whole reason why things are hashtag shot on iPhone, hashtag Team Pixel, shot on Pixel. There are whole search terms for that where you can showcase your photography with these devices without it actually being on the damn photo itself. I think that's a huge overreach of everything in the world. Like, to me, that really, really bothers me a lot. So I guess I have to ask, I'm going to ask the group, the chat, the folks that are still here is, does that really bother you? I should add, there are options in the TCL example here. The option is you can turn it off. You can go into the settings and you can just turn it off. But
is it disabled by default?
No, it's on by default.
Oh,
so like
no.
To me, this is a lot like the whole Samsung speakers listening when you first put the phone or put the TVs in years ago. Like, that to me is an overreach. Like, they're like, yeah, but it's great for consumer blah blah blah. I flat out don't understand the purpose of watermarking the photos from the jump. I don't get it. I don't see it.
I don't agree with it all, especially when you look at the manufacturers or the devices that are being used, in that I have already paid for this device. I have paid to use this device however I want, as long as it's legal, and the manufacturer can no longer do anything to me or that device without cause. So for them to add something to each photo I take without my permission, and I'm guessing they probably didn't acknowledge and they weren't transparent about this when they were selling the devices. It was probably buried in the terms and conditions that nobody ever reads.
Yep.
You know, that in my mind, much like the Samsung TV thing, is an incredible breach of trust. And, you know, that's potentially, I mean, there's trademark implications, there's digital fraud and digital piracy implications here, to where, you know, yes, I'm taking my pictures or my video on a product that was made by somebody else, but I paid for the product. It is now mine.
Yep.
So the pictures and videos that I take it are mine. They don't belong to anybody else.
Yeah, and I'm of the same way as like some of these in the chats here. It's great is, you know, back in the day, Dean says that, you know, was sent from iPhone. Yeah, that was kind of like one of the very first instances of watermarks. And now you start to see it in, like Larry says, because of the way we live in the world today, is every executive email after 5 p.m. Look, I got to be honest with you. I don't even think it's 5 p.m. anymore. It's probably like 3:30.
Not even that. It's defaulted on. I have an iPhone through my company for work emails. It's defaulted as part of your signature on the iPhone unless you turn it off. So if I'm away from my desk and answer an email, it shows from my iPhone. So
I turn that off.
You know,
I turn it off. But then they got smart, which really sucks. They got really smart because then they changed the fonts. Like, they change all the fonts. It defaults back to like archaic Times Roman, not exactly like Arial or Calibri or anything like that. And everybody knows that you're on your phone. Everybody knows it because it looks like you've written it in stone.
Well,
that's effectively what it looks like.
Everybody knows when you send them an email from your phone, Scott, because you use Comic Sans.
I am not the dude from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I am not the owner of the Cavs. I don't write in Comic Sans, you jerk. I am Wingdings.
There it is. A whole different language.
A whole different language. It is now. Now, Andrew brings up a good point. Now, if they let me fix my photo with my own watermark, that is a different story. I agree with that.
Yeah, sure. But again, that all goes back in my mind to ownership and trademarks and copyrights and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Once I take the photo, I can edit it in any way I wish. I can add, I can delete, I can, modify, but I don't want someone else, unless I give them explicit permission,
Mm-hmm.
to modify my data, my property without my permission.
Yep. Yep. All right. So we've talked a lot about photos, talked a lot about these things. I want to, again, push in the clutch. And yes, Dean, I know how to drive a stick. That's for sure.
So do I.
I have some concerns about Google's hardware line, specifically the Pixel line, with some of the reports that are coming out today or in the last few days about Pixel's epic loss of talent. So there's two people that specifically, two people that have specifically been lost. It's been a little while at this point from the Pixel line. I'm going to butcher names. Just so you know, I'm going to butcher names. Mario Quieras,
Good enough.
okay, who used to be the head of Pixel. And I mean, we're talking about a person that was there 10 years, goes all the way back to the instantiation of the very first Google device, the G1. This is not some random dude. This is a person who has a tremendous amount of swag when it comes to being in the Google hardware division. Now, that person, and then Mark Lavoie, who is the head of the Pixel camera team. Everybody knows the Pixel cameras are top notch. Everybody knows it. They have the best portrait mode. I stand by it. They still, to me, have the best portrait mode. Apple's video, definitely better. I when I do basically point and shoots, when I need a still picture from a photography perspective, I'm picking up my Pixel every time. No question. But both of those gentlemen are gone. Now, Lavoie, it's a big deal because this is the guy, like he is like grandfather-ish of computational photography. He is like the person, was a professor at Stanford when it came to computational photography, a lot of computational anything. And I guess he was just an overall great dude, like just a good person. And it comes to find out that both of those parties are now gone from Pixel. And I would be remiss if I weren't a little bit apprehensive and a little bit nervous about what that means for the future Pixel lines. Now, with all the reports, everybody talking about like the Pixel 4a, for like them being gone earlier this year, is going to have no bearing at all on the 4a, in my opinion. I just don't see how it could. Because
I don't think so.
That phone's been in production.
Development cycles,
Yeah, that phone's been in probably like the software development life cycle for a long time. It's something that's going to always be there. It's going to be there, kind of very similar to the 4XL, I guess. Now, what I'm nervous about, I'm really nervous about the fact that what does this mean for the Pixel 5? Tons of reports came out today specifically saying that the two gentlemen that I mentioned and Rick Osterloh? I always mess this up. Osterloh, who is like the head of all of Google hardware, he was really disappointed in the Pixel 4 battery life, let everybody know about it, which is weird. I think it's strange. But also they were impacted by slow Pixel 4 sales because a lot of people were questioning why they put a telephoto lens on, why didn't they put a wide angle when everybody's going wide, why only 2, why not 3, like all of this other stuff. I'm nervous because I'm already accustomed to them being so good, and Google's, in my opinion, is like, if they already had really bad sales with the 4, and I love my 4, by the way, like I love my 4XL. Absolutely, it's been one of my most favorite devices that I have, and it's just not getting the sales, and I'm nervous because what does that mean? Does that mean it's going to go back in quality? Are they going to still have these flagship prices, but you're not going to get the flagship specs? What I saw Apple do with their iPhone 11 and their 11 Pro Max, I mean, they really closed the gap in the still photography, and they just lapped all of everybody in video. I'm genuinely nervous because I don't know what this means. And if you're going to have those types of prices, you've got to come correct.
Well, and I think that's, it's probably the first time since the Pixel line launched where, there is some doubt with what the Pixel 5 is going to look like, what kind of performance statistics, what kind of hardware is along with software. But I agree with you. The loss of those two people in 2020, when the Pixel 5 should already be well along in both the hardware and software development phases, probably isn't the best thing. But as you know, working for a very large corporation, and I know working for a somewhat large corporation, in the right corporate environment, you should have good succession planning, and high quality talent shouldn't be allowed to leave without having someone to replace their capabilities and, shepherd the projects forward. So hopefully Google, with the billions of dollars worth of market capital and money they have in the bank, has got it figured out, and they're paying the right people to make the right decisions. But I agree with you. It is interesting, and I will await to see what comes up on the Pixel 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing is, like, I'm really interested to see, like, maybe they want to go a different direction. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I would highly doubt that. They've had a lot of success. Like, when you start to think about the life cycle, I have owned every single Pixel. I owned a lot of the Nexus line before that. But if you look at the Pixel, like, the Pixel 1 was kind of, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it was a really good instantiation for Google. It proved that they could do photography really well, computational based with one single lens. Pixel 2, again, a lot of people were going to multiple lenses at the time. Google was still able to lap the field with a single lens. And then you get to the Pixel 3 XL, which I believe you still have.
Right here.
And I thought so. And it has, guess what? A single lens on it, because it still has the ability. You still have the single lens on the back, 2 on the front. Yeah. So I really do wish they still had the wide on the front, because I really do miss that feature from the 3XL when I'm going to the 4XL. And then the 4XL went with the first time that we had double lenses on the back.
Yeah.
I stand by I stand by the next statement I'm going to make. I prefer a telephoto lens on the back. I would prefer a wide, a telephoto, and a regular. But if I had to choose between a wide and a telephoto, I would still choose telephoto. But that's because I'm trying to constantly zoom in and capture my children doing something. That's my use case. It works for me. The wide's cool, don't get me wrong. But I prefer telephoto. I stand by that statement. It's a hill by which I will always die on. And trust me, I have died on that hill many times.
Well, and I think going back to, earlier in the conversation, earlier in the show, having, the argument about a smartphone versus a DSLR, I agree with you. I think a telephoto lens for what I take pictures of and how I take pictures would be more useful than a wide angle lens. Yeah. The telephoto will allow you to reach out and touch something that you can't get physically close to. Whereas if I need to take a wide angle shot, I will just use my feet as a zoom, either a zoom in or a zoom out. And but a lot of times, like when you and I are at Ohio State football games, we can't physically get closer to the field. But if we have a telephoto lens and a really quick shutter speed, you can catch some really interesting action shots on the football field. So I don't know. I'm like you. I'm really interested to see what the Pixel 4a is going to have on it. I'm sure they've announced or it's leaked most of it. But then again, the next full top of the line innovation for the Pixel 5.
Yeah, Dean brings up a great point. Head of camera and a long-term senior phone chap leaving. Mix this with poor sales. Maybe they're dropping phones altogether. I would have a hard time believing they would drop phones altogether because of the success of the 3A. The 3A is a great, that thing sold several million units and cost a fraction of what the R&D of a 4 or a 3XL or whatever. The 3A, fraction of the cost, sold a lot of numbers, very comparable to the Pixel 4 line, which is why the Pixel 4 was such a disappointment. In terms of sales, I love the phone. That's the biggest point that I have is man, I freaking love my Pixel 4 XL, and it's a great device. It's a great price point now, but back then that was a tough price to swallow, being flagship level prices. But it was still $500 less than my iPhone.
Right.
I mean, and that says a lot. Yeah, Larry says maybe focus on mid-tier phones. They are killing it with the 3A series until Apple did what Apple did
With the SE.
with the SE. When I saw it, I was like, ugh, because they crammed the same sensor. Now everybody gets all up in arms about the sensor, but they crammed the same sensor, the Bionic chip, and they crammed the same photo, like the photography sensor and the lens in there. And some of the photos that I've seen from the SE compared to some of the other ones, it holds its own, and it's $400.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that when the 4A does finally come out, I think it's still scheduled for this month, isn't it? Which
one?
The 4A.
The rumor is, like, I've seen the rumor go May. I've seen the rumor say June. So the future.
Sometime in the next 45 days. I'm hoping that they are able to at least match that price point, if not beat it. I mean, I wouldn't put it above Google to say, we're going to sell ours for $390, just to dig a little bit. But hopefully they are able to do a lot of what they did with the 3A, is cram most, if not all, of the hardware and then all of the software capability into a lower price point
what they
device
should do?
that would appeal to a lot of people.
What they should do is go back to what they did with the original Pixels, and I think they did it all the way up to the 3 that you have in your hand, is they should do the free full resolution in Google Photos.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they should do.
Yeah.
They stopped that with the Pixel line, the Pixel 4. Like, I pay for extra storage, but I do it intentionally, and I still upload in full res. They should bring that feature back, because that was a flippin' great feature that a lot of people are really up in arms about missing.
I think they still have it free for a year or two, but it's not unlimited. No. They took it away?
Yeah, it's not unlimited at all. No. It's free, unlimited, high quality, not full res.
Even for the first year after purchasing a new device?
Yeah.
Oh,
on
see,
the
I
Pixel
didn't know
4,
that they took that away.
Yeah, they took it all away, man. Yeah, like I miss that. I mean, I take a lot of photos as it is, but yeah, I mean, I can't really say. I mean, Apple doesn't do it. I think I have multiple terabytes in both Google and Apple at this point, and I have 6 terabyte server here too.
Yeah, I was looking at my Google Drive usage earlier today, and I may end up needing to buy some more by the end of the year.
Yeah. Larry brings another great point. Let's hope Pixel 5 isn't Game of Thrones Season 6. Competition is great for innovation. Exactly. And you can see it with exactly what Apple did with the iPhone 11. You can see it. It's plain as day. You can see it exactly when you get into the Samsung S20 Plus. You can see it every single day. What Google pushed people to do with still photography in their phones, that was a big push. What Google did, Night Sight, unbelievably good. Night Sight is exactly where it is. What is one of the first things you hear people say when they compare any Android device to a Pixel line? The cameras are X number better or X number worse than the Pixel line. They move the bar. They made a bar that somebody has to achieve, like portrait mode. Portrait mode everybody talks about how Pixel is king when it comes to portrait mode. That is the bar. And they still do that. Apple still gets into it's still not as good as portrait mode for this, or the OnePlus isn't as good as portrait mode as that, or the Night Sight isn't as good as this. All things that a bar was set by Google, and I'll take that one to the bank. Again, video is Apple, and it's not even close, in my opinion. Not even close. Android takes decent video. iPhone is just that much better.
Right.
Hands down. But the still photography, Google has set the bar so high that I'm genuinely worried about the innovation, because it just doesn't seem like it would push it as much. Because if they're not there, why do I have to innovate? People are still going to buy it anyway.
Right.
Dean says, after I got the 3A last year for my wife, I decided that this year's the upgrade was the 4A XL. Reduce it. They're not doing the 4A in XL size. Yep, you're right. They are not doing the 4A in an XL version, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh, that is a bummer.
Yep. So,
because I definitely would have bought the XL version.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I have heard that it's right on par with what the 3A would have been last year. I don't know how true that is, but I'm a big phone guy. Remember, witness the thickness. Witness the thickness. Are you thicknesses? All right, stats. We got about 3 minutes left. God, that was a quick hour, bro.
Yeah,
that was a quick hour. All right, hit them with your socials, my friend.
I am at Helix Heinlein on the tweet machine and at Country Smith on the Instagram.
And you can find me at Scott Peachy on the tweet machine and at the Scott Peachy on Instagram. Both of us being hypocrites.
Yes, 100%.
Is what it is. I'm not even sad about it. So, yeah, that's all I got. I think it was a pretty interesting show.
I had fun.
I'm really genuinely surprised that camera is still on because I'm not running on AC power. I'm running on battery.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. I'm a man of chance.
Yeah.
I also had the iPhone on standby just in case. All right, folks, have a wonderful rest of your week. Be good, be kind, be good to each other. Remember to spay and neuter your pets, and that's all I got. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.